be empathetic. Like, it is absolutely ridiculous.
This man is the puppet of...
You need a note.
No. Okay, listen. I'm not in any way, shape, or form, like, the biggest fan of this guy. I'm not. But he tends to go on tangents, and he rambles. And he's just probably just writing things down just to kind of ground himself and bring himself back down. Like, hey, I'm going on this tangent about talking how amazing I am.
So maybe he does actually need notes to keep him.
To just kind of keep him focused. Yeah, just to kind of ground him, bring him back down to reality.
That's pretty
and
bad.
Let's talk about why you're here. Let's remind yourself why you're here. I may be wrong. I might be off base, but
can you think of another president who would have notes like that?
Sure, probably plenty of them.
Yeah, I mean,
listen,
I'm not going to stand on his
aside
side
from
this time.
GW and FDR, most of our presidents, I'm sorry, I'm going to have some people not liking me for this, but most of them were shit. They're garbage. We haven't had a good president since FDR. I'm sorry.
Up.
Sorry, Reagan. Nice guy. Not the best.
Huge twat in politics.
JFK wasn't in office long enough. Everyone talks about how he was like the second coming.
I think he would have been a really good
That's what everybody
president.
says, but you don't know that? He wasn't in there long enough.
How long was he actually?
And that whole Bay of Pigs thing was an absolute disaster.
That was McCarthy. That wasn't...
JFK was in office during the Bay of Pigs invasion. It was during the Cold War.
Yeah.
Bay of Pigs.
Yeah, that was the invasion of Cuba.
That was definitely JFK.
We're looking
He
up.
was in office. Are you Googling it right now?
Yeah, we're seeing how long JFK was alive while he served as president.
He was not in office for very long. He didn't even...
His presidential term was January 20th, 1961 to November 22nd, 1963.
All right, so
He
we
didn't
got a
serve
little
a full
Google
term.
history. No, he didn't serve a full term.
No.
No.
He
And he
served
was
like a year and a
in
half.
office right in the middle of the Bay of Pigs, like the whole Cold War.
Right.
So he got thrown into a shitstorm. So did Bush. So did, Junior. Like, he was elected, and then 9/11. It was like, damn. That's a hell of a time to be president.
But you know what? After the debates with Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton, I went back and I watched the past debates of, like, Obama and I think it was Romney and George W. Bush. And Donald Trump makes George W. Bush look like a very, very intelligent man.
It makes George Bush Jr. look like a goddamn hero.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. George W. Bush.
Yeah. Which is...
Donald
we
Trump
can always reference
like a genius.
I read some article. Oh, God.
It's absurd.
It was a long time. It was like 6 or 7 months ago, and I'm probably not saying it right, but there was something about Junior W that he paints a lot.
Yeah, he
he's really
released
good.
a book.
Really good.
He paints a lot, and he's actually feels really horrible about all of that stuff.
Yeah, he's extremely remorseful.
He has been writing letters to the families of all the people in the military that died while he was in office and, like, apologizing.
Yep.
And I thought that was just so crazy. I thought it was awesome. I mean, it made me respect the guy a whole hell of a lot more, you know.
Yeah, there's George W. painting.
Yes.
Yes. He also
really good.
You know, to give it up for Bush for just a second, he released that book, and all the profits that he receives from the paintings go to the Wounded Warrior and other. You know, when I first heard that he was releasing that book, I was like, "Oh wow, you're profiting off more of the people who died for you, you know, and saving that country." But then I found out. You know, it doesn't add a level of respect, but, you know, it's like, I guess it gives compensation for some of the atrocities that he had done.
Well, it's like, can you imagine Donald Trump doing the same thing?
No.
Well, it's not even, I mean, it wasn't necessarily things that he was entirely responsible for. There's always somebody pulling the strings, and that's in any administration that's been around.
Yeah,
so,
I think shit's a lot more fucked than we think.
It's way worse than it's ever been. But it's just been getting that way since, I'm sorry, it's been getting that way since 9/11.
Yeah.
It's...
we are in a new breed of politics. But Brennan, what's your next Trump dump?
Sorry about the
I
segue.
actually just saw this like a couple hours ago. Donald Trump was speaking, and he talked about giving a bonus to teachers who would have a concealed weapons permit and carry at school as a way to combat, mass shootings. Start arming some teachers.
I really hope that is not true.
That's
okay.
Totally true.
I don't know what your third fact is, Brennan.
Well, it's just things about Donald Trump, not necessarily facts.
Okay.
I mean, I guess
so,
they're facts, but
bleeding into the most recent CNN town hall, am I okay to talk about this, or is that part of your next?
No.
Okay, so recently, of all people, Marco Rubio was, in front of all of these students defending his change-up of gun laws, and the two people who should have been there to also talk in favor or, express their concerns was the president and or our wonderful Skeletor government official Rick Scott, which, of course, was nowhere to be fucking found because he's probably PRing somewhere for his next endeavor in trying to get into Congress. So, Marco Rubio was definitely trying to achieve greatness by... I don't even know where I'm going with this. It is just like, it was a turd show off,
and I watched that myself, and they really made Marco Rubio look bad.
They made him look like a bitch.
They tore him up. The one kid asked if he would still accept donations from the NRA, and he danced around that question like a boxer. So yeah, I totally saw that too.
Did you end up watching it, Guba?
I read about it.
Yes.
I kind of want to segue back to something that you just said, though.
Okay, go ahead.
Our
Skeletor or Trump?
Yeah, our governor, Skeletor, a.k.a. Skeletor. You know what he really looks like? Well, two things. One, the movie Who Framed Roger Rabbit.
Guba making it lighthearted.
The judge that is played by, what the hell, Dr. Emmett Brown from Back to the Future. Christopher Lloyd. Christopher Lloyd plays the judge in Who Frames Roger Rabbit, and when he gets all crazy and he turns into part cartoon, his eyes are all like, ah.
Oh, and that's
Rick Scott. Google that. Google that, and you guys will see it. And the other one is the old creepy guy from the Poltergeist.
I can totally fucking see
Caroline knocking on the door and shit.
You know what? I'm gonna go even a third.
That's him going door to door trying to get votes. Hey, that's Rick Scott. Caroline, answer the door.
So I got a third one.
Republican.
I got a third one. In Indiana Jones, and when they're carrying the sarcophagus of Christ, and they open it, and the Holy Spirit exits the box, and all the faces are melting. He looks like some of the skeletons, melting. That's the famous fucking scene from Indiana Jones.
The Ark of the Covenant.
Thank you. Yes. Yeah,
he does look like that scary bald Nazi guy with the glasses.
Yeah, he does.
Gets his hand. He gets his hand burned in the beginning of the movie. Remember?
Right. Yeah.
He's all like,
that's from him using Pornhub too much.
Oh my god. Okay. All right, Brennan. What else you got?
What else you got?
I'm sorry about that, but it needed to be discussed.
Yes, that was something extremely important that we need to get the fuck out of the way.
It was lighthearted. I like it. Breaks it up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my god.
Then this was just another thing that I saw. I saw that on President's Day weekend he visited the Broward Hospital, but I also read that on President's Day weekend he went golfing at Mar-a-Lago.
Oh yeah, it's his day off, so he's in Florida. He was like, "Hey, fuck,
coincidence?" I think not.
Well, I mean, if we look at
he's like, I guess I'm going to be in that area anyway.
Geographically, I'm close to my Mar-a-Lago resort. I might as well take a night and go golfing.
I'm going to take at least 9.
You know what this makes me wonder?
What's that?
I wonder how good at golf is that guy.
He's probably pretty damn good.
You think he's
probably
like
better
Tiger Woods
good?
I mean, you think he's like PGA material? Because the amount of time that man spends golfing. I'm sorry, I don't care if you don't have an athletic bone in your body. If you do something and you practice it every day or a million times a week or whatever for that long of a time, you have to be decent. There's no way that you're going to suck.
Brennan, can you look up on Google Donald Trump's golf game? See if we have any...
like an average?
Yeah. See if we can actually see if he has been in like any tournaments.
70s, 80s, 90s.
There's no way that... I mean, he learns... It's like primates with like cognitive tests, you know, how they're like... Or behavioral mods where they, you know, reward them for doing something and then it kind of trains them to do it. It's got to be like the same thing with sports or something, a hobby that you do all the time, even if you're not good. You have to eventually get there because you do it so much.
I like how the first thing Brennan pulls up is how good is Donald Trump at golf? And the article is from golfworld.com. So what do you got for us, Brennan?
I wonder if this was before or after he was president. Because
they
might be scared to say something bad. Not going to get sniped.
And in the advertisement is Jim Beam because you have to realize that you're reading something.
We're gonna make Golf Magazine disappear. We're gonna buy the company and then I'm gonna flush it down my big gold toilet and I'm gonna take a shit on Golf Magazine.
Here's what I got.
That's what he'd do to them.
Trump was 67 when he played this guy in 2013 at his course outside Charlotte. This was in 2014.
Wait, so Trump's in his 70s?
Yeah, Trump's an old fuck.
Yeah.
Damn, okay.
He's one of the actually oldest presidents.
I didn't know that. Go ahead.
It says he still possessed a significant remnant of big man athleticism. He was not particularly long off the tee, averaging about 230 yards, but a big reason was a steep downswing that produced a low fade and was better suited at good iron play. Trump had made calculation that being exceedingly straight, he was surely in the rough and never in chip out or penalty trouble. Excuse me. He works better than long and too often wrong.
So you're saying he's a pretty average golfer? He's got a good long. He has a good short game, but his long game sucks.
Yeah, but that he doesn't.
He's very meticulous.
Well, yeah, but he doesn't slice it. He doesn't like hit off the green.
Sounds like he doesn't take a lot of risks. He's just,
for someone who does take a lot of risks.
He's a straightforward golfer.
Yeah. So
can you?
I guess we learned
to him as a person.
Yeah, if he had a soul.
But my point exactly. He doesn't have to be like Tiger Woods good, but he's better than most people because of the amount of time he spends golfing.
He has a 2.8 handicap. If you're betting on Trump in the upcoming
I don't know very
golf
much
leagues.
about golf, so
Neither
I don't
do
know
I.
if that's good or bad.
I don't think.
He's a pretty damn good golfer.
I mean, aside from
Scored 77.
He golfs in the 70s most of the time, 80s some of the time, low 80s. That's a really good golfer.
Yeah.
Like, really good.
All right, so we learned tonight that he's still a despicable cunt, but his golf game is all right.
Well, it might not be that great now. I mean, that was 5 years ago, so who knows?
Yeah.
All right, so hot topic item. What do we think about AR-15s, guys?
I think it's a rifle. I think
it is a thing.
I think they're villainizing a particular rifle, and they're putting assault in front of the word rifle, but there's a lot of other rifles that can do the same thing, and people aren't talking about those. So I don't think it's necessarily a question of that particular gun. It's more, do you support gun rights?
Is this in reference to the assault
gun
rifle
control ban? As a whole?
Yeah. Guba? I know we talked a little bit about guns last week, but
what I want to know is, does that gun does it shoot 9mm bullets?
Do you like bullets and pepperoni pizza?
All of our pizzas come with pepperoni and 9mm bullets on them.
You are a huge nerd.
The only difference is maybe the bullets will be in my gun or maybe they'll be on your pizza.
Yes.
Holy shit.
If
you
don't
didn't
like
know
guns.
this, because Guba is terrified of guns.
Yeah.
So I think she has I'm not going to be in a hallway with a gunman.
I think about a gun and I want to pee.
Huh?
I think about a gun and I want to pee.
Instant urination break.
I shot a gun.
Oh, did you?
I shot a gun.
I
and
did.
I liked
you know what?
it.
And I think that I actually